You've been there, staring at your phone, watching the screen light up, hoping it's her. But it's just another notification that doesn't matter. You're sitting there, replaying every conversation in your head, analyzing every word you said, wondering where you lost the upper hand. You give her your time, your energy, your resources, and your absolute loyalty, and in return, you get crumbs. You get silence. You get that cold, indifferent look that tells you exactly where you stand on her priority list, which is nowhere near the top. It feels like you are screaming underwater. You are doing everything right, everything society told you a good man does, yet you feel invisible. You feel like a utility, a background character in her main event. And the worst part? She knows it. She knows she has you specifically where she wants you, orbiting, waiting, desperate for just a hit of validation. It burns, doesn't it? That feeling in your chest isn't just rejection. It's the slow erosion of your own self-respect. You are bleeding out emotionally, and she is the one holding the knife, smiling like nothing is happening. But here is the brutal truth that nobody wants to tell you because it sounds too harsh, too cold, too real for the modern world. You handed her that knife. You sharpened it, you polished it, and every single time you react to her silence, every time you double text when she leaves you on read, every time you ask, "What's wrong?" When she's clearly playing games, you are guiding her hand to cut you deeper. You think you're fighting for the relationship, but you're actually fighting for her ego. You are feeding the very beast that is eating you alive. Her ego thrives on one thing, and one thing only, your emotional turbulence. As long as she can disturb your peace, she owns you. As long as she can make you anxious, she is the captain of your ship. And she will never, ever admit this. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop feeding her that emotional currency, is the moment her entire reality begins to crack. Listen to me closely, because we are about to go into the dark waters of human psychology. If you are tired of being the nice guy who finishes last, if you are done being a stepping stone for someone else's validation, then you need to lock in right now. We aren't just talking about ignoring her. Any child can ignore someone. We are talking about a fundamental shift in your existence that destroys her ego without you saying a single disrespectful word. But before we break down the mechanics of this, you need to understand where you are. You are in the matrix of validation. And if you want to unplug, if you want to see the truth that 99% of men are too afraid to face, then you need to align yourself with the men who are actually doing the work. Don't just watch this and move on. Hit that subscribe button right now if you are ready to reclaim your masculinity. Join the brotherhood. We don't do tips and tricks here. We do soul surgery. If you're not ready for that, click off. But if you're still here, it means you're ready to kill the old version of yourself. Let's work. Most men think that ego is about arrogance or being loud. They think if she's not bragging, she doesn't have an ego. Wrong. A woman's ego is often tied to her influence. It's tied to her ability to move mountains, and by mountains, I mean you. You are the mountain. When she cries and you crumble, her ego is fed. When she pulls away and you chase, her ego is fed. When she insults you and you get angry, her ego is fed. Even your anger validates her. Think about that. Even when you are screaming at her, you are telling her, "You are important enough to destroy my emotional control." That is a victory for her ego. She might act upset. She might play the victim. But deep down, in the lizard brain that drives attraction and power dynamics, she feels secure. She knows she still has the remote control to your nervous system. This is why the silent treatment hurts you so much, but when you try to use it on her, it often backfires. Because when you do it, you're doing it to get a reaction. You're doing it out of spite. And she can smell that desperation on you like cheap cologne. The Stoic approach, the real, dark, unfiltered Stoic psychology, is not about pretending. It's about the void. The void is not a tactic. It is a state of being where her actions simply do not land. Imagine throwing a rock into a bottomless pit. You wait for the sound of it hitting the bottom, but the sound never comes. It just disappears. That is what you must become. When she tries to test you, she throws a rock. When she tries to make you jealous, she throws a rock. When she withdraws affection, she throws a rock. And instead of hearing the clank of your reaction, she hears nothing. Absolute silence. The void. This is terrifying to the female ego. It is the one thing she cannot manipulate because there is nothing there to grab onto. It destroys her sense of reality because she defines her value by her impact on you. If she has zero impact, does she even exist in your world? That question, do I even matter to him, is the sledgehammer that shatters her ego. Let's get real about how this plays out in the trenches. You've probably tried pulling back before. You waited 3 hours to text back. You acted busy, but you were checking your phone every 5 minutes, weren't you? Your heart rate spiked every time it buzzed. You were faking it, and that's why it failed. Women are master readers of micro-expressions and energy. If you are faking indifference, you look like a pouting child. True ego destruction happens when you genuinely, deeply, and profoundly do not require her validation to breathe. It's when you look at her beauty, her drama, her tests, and you appreciate them like you appreciate a painting in a museum, nice to look at, but you don't need to take it home to be happy. This level of detachment is a superpower. It's the high-value mindset that every guru talks about, but nobody explains how to get. It comes from realizing that you are the prize, not because you're arrogant, but because you are the one on the mission. You are the one building the legacy. She is a guest in your kingdom. A welcomed guest, a loved guest, but a guest nonetheless. Guests do not dictate the rules of the house. When you start operating from this frame, something shifts in the air. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop explaining yourself. Have you noticed how much you explain? Oh, I didn't text back because I was working and then my boss called and… Stop. Just stop. Explaining is a trauma response. It's you begging for forgiveness for having a life outside of her. When you cut the explanations, you cut the oxygen to her control. She asks, "Why were you late?" You say, "Got held up at work," and you leave it there. No apology, no long story, no pleading for understanding. You state the fact and you move on. The silence that follows that statement is where her ego goes to die. In that silence, she has to confront the fact that she is not the judge of your life. You are the judge. This is uncomfortable for her. It causes friction. She might call you cold. She might say you've changed. Good. You have changed. You've stopped being a doormat and started being a man. This quiet destruction isn't aggressive. It's actually the most peaceful thing you can do. You aren't fighting her. You are removing your participation in the chaos. Think of a storm. She is the storm, emotional, chaotic, beautiful, destructive. You have been running around trying to catch the rain, trying to stop the wind. It's exhausting. Stoic psychology tells you to be the mountain. The storm rages around the mountain, lightning strikes, thunder rolls, but the mountain does not move. The mountain does not argue with the wind. It just is. Eventually, the storm runs out of energy. It has to. And when the sky's clear, the mountain is still standing, untouched. When you become the mountain, her ego realizes it cannot move you, and that realization forces her to either respect you deeply or leave. And let's be honest, brother. If she leaves because she can't manipulate you, did you really lose anything? Or did you just take out the trash? But let's go deeper into the specific mechanism of the mirror. In every relationship, you are a mirror for her vanity. She looks at you to see how attractive, powerful, and worthy she is. If you are constantly drooling over her, complimenting her when she doesn't deserve it, and tolerating her disrespect, the mirror is distorted. It shows her a goddess when she's acting like a brat. You are lying to her. You are telling her that her bad behavior is acceptable. This inflates her ego to a point where she thinks she is better than you. She starts looking down on you because logically, why would a high-value man tolerate this crap? He wouldn't. Therefore, you must be low value. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You treat her like a celebrity. She treats you like a fan. And fans don't sleep with celebrities. They just pay for the tickets. To destroy this false ego, you must clean the mirror. You must reflect reality. When she acts out, you don't get mad. You get bored. Disinterest is the ultimate insult. Anger shows you care. Boredom shows she is uninspiring. Imagine she starts an argument over something petty, trying to get you riled up. Instead of raising your voice, you look at her with a calm, slightly disappointed expression, and you say, "Are we really doing this right now?" And then you go back to your work. You don't storm out. You don't slam doors. You just withdraw your attention because the content she is providing is low quality. You are a man of high standards. You only engage with high-quality interactions. If she wants your attention, she has to level up. This flips the script entirely. Now, she is the one who has to perform for you. She has to earn the right to be in your presence. Her ego hates this, but her biology loves it. Evolutionarily, women are designed to seek out the strongest, most unshakable leader. By destroying her fake ego, you are waking up her primal desire. This transition is painful. I won't lie to you. Your own ego will scream. You will want to fix things. You will want to make sure she knows you love her. You've been programmed by Hollywood movies to think that chasing is romantic. It's not. Chasing is creepy. Chasing is weak. Attraction is a game of space. You need to create space for her to come to you. If you are always in her face, always available, always texting, there is no mystery. There is no anticipation. You are like a free sample at a grocery store, easy to get, and nobody values it. You need to be the limited edition, behind the glass, that she has to save up to afford. And the currency she pays with is respect. Consider the concept of emotional sovereignty. This is the core of Stoic philosophy. It means your internal state is governed by your own laws, not by external events. Most men are emotional slaves. Their mood depends on the weather, the traffic, the football game, and most of all, their woman's mood. If she's happy, you're happy. If she's cold, you're anxious. This is pathetic. A Stoic man carries his own weather. You bring the sunshine, or you bring the thunder, but you do it on your terms. When you detach your happiness from her approval, you become dangerous. You become free, and a free man is the most intimidating thing on the planet to a woman who is used to controlling men with her beauty. She realizes her beauty has no power over you unless you decide to let it. That realization is the pin that pops the balloon of her inflated self-importance. Now, we arrive at the most dangerous weapon in your arsenal, yet it is the one you are most terrified to pull. It is the nuclear option of human dynamics. It's called the willingness to walk away. I'm not talking about a fake breakup to get her attention. I'm talking about looking at the relationship, looking at the disrespect, looking at the lack of reciprocity, and genuinely accepting in your soul that you would be perfectly fine without her. This is the scent that women fear and respect above all else. You see, most men negotiate their relationships from a position of fear. You are terrified of being alone. You are terrified of losing the investment you made in her. And she knows it. She can feel your grip tightening, and the tighter you grip, the more she suffocates, and the more her ego tells her she is the prize. But when you loosen that grip, when you lean back and look at the door not with fear, but with indifference, that is when the power dynamic flips instantly. You have to understand the sunk cost fallacy. You've spent years, money, emotions. You think you can't leave because you've paid so much. That is exactly how a gambler loses his house. A Stoic man cuts his losses. He understands that his dignity is worth more than his history. When you internalize the fact that you are the architect of your own life and that she is merely a passenger, you stop tolerating bad driving. If a passenger starts screaming, grabbing the wheel, or complaining about the route, you pull over and you kick them out. You don't argue. You don't beg them to behave. You remove the access. This is what destroys the ego, the realization that her access to you is a privilege, not a right. And privileges can be revoked. Let's talk about the vacuum. When you actually apply this, when you stop chasing, stop validating, and focus entirely on your purpose, your gym, your money, your God, you create a vacuum. Nature hates a vacuum. It rushes to fill it. When you withdraw your energy, she will feel a sudden coldness. At first, her ego will tell her, he's playing games. He'll be back. She will wait. She will post that thirst trap on Instagram to see if you view it. She will text you something vague like, hey, or I miss you, just to see if you jump. Do not jump. This is the ego extinction burst. It's her ego fighting for survival. If you reply instantly, if you pour your heart out, you lose. You reset the clock, you prove her right. Instead, you wait. You reply when you have time. You keep it short. You keep it polite but distant. You are not being mean. You are being busy building an empire. There is a difference. This leads us to the concept of amor fati, the love of fate. Whatever happens, you accept it and you love it. If she stays and respects you, good. If she leaves, good. Both outcomes are fuel for your growth. When you truly don't care which outcome happens, you become invincible. Think about the power of a man who cannot be threatened. If you don't do this, I'll leave. Okay, leave. I'm going to talk to other guys. Go ahead. When her threats meet your indifference, her weapon turns into dust. Her ego realizes it has no leverage. And a woman without leverage is forced to be feminine. She is forced to come into your frame because her frame has collapsed. She can't control you with sex. She can't control you with silence. She can't control you with jealousy. She has to actually offer value. She has to actually be a partner. This is the only way to get a modern woman to respect you, by showing her that you are capable of surviving and thriving without her. But be warned. When the shift happens, when her ego breaks, and she comes back seeking validation, seeking the man she realized she almost lost, do not become arrogant. Do not say, "I told you so." That is the small ego talking. The Stoic king is gracious. You welcome her back, but you keep the boundaries made of steel. You reward good behavior, and you ignore bad behavior. You are training her like you train yourself. Discipline is love. Boundaries are love. If you let her walk all over you, you don't love her. You fear her. And women despise men they can fearmonger. By holding your ground, by being the unmoved mover, you give her the greatest gift a man can give a woman. Safety. She feels safe knowing that you are stronger than her emotions. She feels safe knowing that her chaos cannot sink your ship. Her ego dies, but her attraction is reborn. Now let's zoom out. Why are we doing this? Is it just to get the girl? If that's your only goal, you've missed the point. You are still a slave. The goal is self-mastery. The goal is to reach a point where your validation comes from the man in the mirror, not the woman in your bed. A woman is a complement to your life, not the focus of it. When you make her the sun, you burn. When you make yourself the sun, she orbits. It is physics. It is biology. It is the natural order. You have been lied to by society, by movies, by songs telling you that she is your everything. That is a recipe for misery. Your everything must be your mission, your specific purpose on this earth. When you are locked in on that, when you are grinding at 4 a.m. while the world sleeps, when you are pushing your body past its limits, the petty games of a relationship seem insignificant. You stop stressing about a text message because you are stressed about conquering the world. That is the frequency you need to vibrate on. You need to become the ghost in your own life regarding drama. Be present for the joy. Be present for the connection. But ghost the drama. When she starts the circular arguments, the gaslighting, the emotional manipulation, you simply vanish. You go for a walk. You go to the gym. You read a book. You refuse to engage in low vibrational warfare. You are a general. You don't fight in the mud with the infantry. You stay on the hill. This silence is louder than any scream. It forces her to sit alone with her thoughts. And in that solitude, her conscience will speak to her. She will realize that she is the problem. But if you engage, if you argue, she can blame you for your reaction. I only yelled because you yelled. Don't give her that excuse. Give her silence. Let her yell at a wall. Eventually, she will feel foolish. And that feeling of foolishness is the antidote to her arrogance. Listen to me, brother. Time is running out. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. Do you want to spend your limited time on this planet chasing someone who doesn't value you? Do you want to spend your prime years anxious, depressed, and begging for attention? Or do you want to build a legacy? The woman you want, the high-value, respectful, feminine woman, is looking for a man who has conquered himself. She is not looking for a fanboy. She is looking for a king, and kings do not beg. Kings do not explain. Kings do not tolerate disrespect. The moment you decide that you are the prize, the world changes. The colors get brighter. The air gets crisper. You walk taller. People respect you more, not just her, but everyone. Men respect you. The world respects you because you respect yourself. So here is your mission. Starting today, you kill the nice guy. You kill the simp. You bury him in the backyard and you never visit his grave. You embrace the stoic. You embrace the dark. You embrace the silence. You stop reacting and you start creating. You watch her ego crumble not with malice, but with pity, because you realize it was a false god all along. You build your frame so strong that nothing can crack it. And if she wants to be part of that frame, she can knock on the door and ask for entry. But she does not own the house. You do. This is not a game. This is your life. And it's time you took the controls back. If this message woke something up inside you, if you felt that fire in your gut that's been dormant for too long, then you know what to do. Don't just watch and forget. Internalize this. Become this. The old you is dead. The new you is just waking up. Subscribe if you are part of the few who actually get it. Welcome to the reality. Now go out there and be the storm that doesn't move.